Hello everybody, we're going to start things a bit early tonight, just because as many of you know, I am a history nut, and this was supposed to be a history game, the 100th year of Deerfield boys hockey and the 127th year of St. Paul's boys hockey. St. Paul's still wearing their throwback uniforms. Deerfield was supposed to have a big celebration this weekend. That won't happen because of COVID-19 concerns. However, I'll still do a little history tonight because it's important to me, and I think it's kind of fun as well. So, there you see on your screen, that's the first St. Paul's boys hockey team, 1896. This is the 127th year of St. Paul's hockey. In their first game, they beat the Alumni 3-1 at Madison Square Garden. And that's the first Deerfield team, 1922, 100 years ago, almost to the weekend. It was January 18th when they played their first game against UMass Amherst, then called Massachusetts Agricultural College. They beat them 2-1. The high schoolers beat the college kids in their first ever game, celebrating their 100th season here today. St. Paul's and Deerfield first met in 1945 at Madison Square Garden. St. Paul's came away the 6-1 winners behind 2 goals each by Tolland and Hilliard. The lone Deerfield goal was scored by Wellis in the early third. The game was played before a crowd of 4,000 people at Madison Square Garden. We got quite a crowd on hand tonight. There's another picture. You can see the Deerfield players. These are all excerpts from the St. Paul's Pelican, the school newspaper, which well documented things at the time. The teams have made again at the 1957 Lawrenceville tournament. St. Paul's won the tournament a second straight year and dominated Deerfield by a 7-0 score. But later, the streak would begin as another 5 years came to pass. Deerfield dominated in 1962. They outshot St. Paul's 27-8 in the game, and then it would begin an 11 straight year consecutive streak where Deerfield and St. Paul's met. Deerfield won again in the 1963 edition of the Red versus Green game, and St. Paul's won in 1964 in a game that ended in dramatic fashion. St. Paul's Haven Pell took a shot from the point that careened off the backboard, jumped over the back of the cage, and hit the Deerfield goaltender in the back, trickling down his spine and into the net to give St. Paul's the 4-3 win. But things wouldn't work out for the Big Red over the next course of the next decade, as that would be the last bit of luck St. Paul's would get against Deerfield. Deerfield won the next 8 contests between 1965 and 1973, and in the 11 years between 62 and 73, Deerfield won 10 of 12, dominating most contests by scores of 6-0, 8-0, and 10-5 included. About a decade would come to pass before the teams would meet again. They met at Lawrenceville one last time in 1986. Deerfield won the game, and then that was it. They have not met since 1987. It's been 35 years since the Big Red and Big Green last met. Deerfield comes in today's game having won 9 in a row against St. Paul's. St. Paul's last win was in January of 1964, 30 plus years before any of these players that are playing in today's game were even born. That's part of the intrigue of today's contest. Both these programs have their own storied tradition. They have history together, and they have stories together that are really fun. I know it's loud in this building, and it's probably hard for you to hear some of those stories, but I tried to relay a couple of them here before puck drop. And if you're interested, you're always welcome to reach out with me. I can talk about these odd addendum. But it's important to know that they should rekindle things today. After a 35-year hiatus in Deerfield's 100th year of hockey, that's a special storyline for the game tonight. And it should make for a fun contest here in Deerfield, Mass. 30 seconds winding down in warm-up. And I'll let you take in the crowd here just before we get set for puck drop. Well, folks, there's the horn. Deerfield and St. Paul's were right above the Deerfield student section, so we were right in the thick of the action tonight. two programs with a history of excellence, but the season so far has been far from excellent. Deerfield comes into tonight's game with a 2-9 overall record. St. Paul's not too dissimilar. They've got a 2-9-1 record on the season. Deerfield lost their last game 7-3 on the road at KUA. The Big Green, to their credit, have done a good job of keeping pucks out of their net, but putting pucks into the other team's net, that's been the real issue for Deerfield so far this season. They only have a 1.91 goals for average per game. We're going to have a pregame ceremony at center ice, so we'll let you listen into that.
Jamie Hagerman Finney, and Alex Gilhorn, just to name few years ago, Deerfield students were excited and thrilled to be playing what was a modern indoor rink we later called the Park. I coached against Deerfield teams in that facility and it was never fun. When it was built, those Deerfield students could not believe how fortunate they were to be in a school like Deerfield playing in such a fine facility. I've had the opportunity to meet and speak with past players on their experiences here, and I can tell you now they wouldn't trade those memories for anything. As we draft the club tonight and move forward, let's pause and acknowledge that celebrating our past is a good reminder to appreciate the present. Meeting St. Paul's again tonight begins another chapter in the history of hockey at Deerfield Academy. Good luck to both teams.
Remembering the past as a reminder to enjoy the present. How about that? A great quote from Athletic Director Bob Howe to get us started. It's Deerfield and St. Paul's from the class of 1993 Rink in Deerfield. St. Paul's will come from right to left. They're wearing white. They're in their throwback jerseys, mimicking Colby Baker. They start Cal Welch in goal. Down the other end, Jake Fillion for Deerfield. They'll come from left to right. They're in green. My name's Ryan Murphy. Proud to be underway with you here today from Deerfield Bass. As we start back with it, Spencer Gallant will push it over there to the far side. Played on in front of the Deerfield bench and right away. So let's go Deerfield. Chance gets started here. Class of 93 Rink. Sam Seibel gets stood up. And here comes Drew Garzone into the zone. Garzone comes in, he's given a shove by Cade Cox in behind the St. Paul's cage. It's backhanded up the board and all the way out. Will Murphy will go back for it. Murphy with Gallant back on D to start the game for Deerfield. Swung quickly up the right side. It goes off a Deerfield leg to Cade Cox. Cox for Jake Sullivan. He has to go off his tape and now puts it right onto the stick of Max Abene coming into the zone. One of the Deerfield captains. Abene the pass. There's a good shot by Cam Herr, the first one of the game, and the first save of the game for Cal Welch. As it's bounded back out to center, here comes JT Halliday. He gets by, he's hauled down. It'll be a penalty to Deerfield. It's loose in front of the goal. Seibel turns and shoots. And it was just knocked away in front of the goal. And St. Paul's will head to the power play. Deerfield crowd obviously not too pleased with that call. It's not 4-0 Deerfield. I apologize. I'm just moving around with the score bug right now. I have to get things all set up. You all can't even see that yet. First power play of the game to St. Paul's. Early in the box is Isaac Abbott, the senior from Halifax, Nova Scotia, and a captain of the Deerfield squad. In the box here early, the St. Paul's power play. Cade Cox moving in from the line, off the face-off, moving around with it. We find Jake Sullivan there, his defensive partner. Sullivan for Roberts along the wall. Roberts out wide. There's a swing and a miss by Cox. Jumping up on it there is Abene. He hits Cade Cox. Cade trying to move it to the corner. Grady comes in to help out. It's swung around by Deerfield. A chance to clear here. And Ryan Diffley would do just that. Welch back out of his net to stop it. 90 seconds. Here left to go in the penalty to Abbott. Early in this St. Paul's Deerfield, a classic game. First time in 35 years these two teams have met in a great presentation at center. Bob Howe, the Deerfield Athletic Director, honoring all the work that's gone into celebrating Deerfield's 100th year of hockey, which was supposed to be this year. It's supposed to have all sorts of alumni celebrations and banquets and stuff like that. That was all canceled due to COVID, but we're still celebrating here. It's turned back onto the stick now of Cam Moriarty. Good kill for Deerfield so far. We're just about 2.5 minutes into the contest, if that. And obviously no scores. St. Paul's on the power play for 50 more seconds. Sam Seibel will lead the attack. The Vermont native come all the way through. He's buried in there by Moroka, but St. Paul's gets by. It just got away from Josh Halliday, though. Now in the middle, Seibel tips it back to the shot by Brad Cox that kills up and off the glass. Crowd is loud here early. I'll talk more about the rink and how that will play into things as the game goes on. But it certainly will create a lot of noise as Johnny Moriarty sends it all the way down. Abene is there first. He sends it up off the boards. Deerfield was there to meet it. Penalty just about over. It's at center ice. Spencer Gallant swings in. He gets tumbled, though, I think that was Dylan Biggs with a good hit for St. Paul's, giving him a couple words too. Abene comes off the wall. He just misses the goal there with the shot. Gallant stepping in from the line now. He'll send it all the way around. No one was there for Deerfield, and it gets by the stick of Will Murphy and out. Coming up the left side is Jack Michaud. He chases the puck in the corner. Winning it there is Tom Molson. He comes around the goal and sends it back out to center. Alicia into the middle, across the big D at center. Here comes Gallant, racing in, the big defenseman. He gets by a backhander right on. And that's stopped by Cal Welch. And we'll get a whistle. St. Paul's 0 for 1 on the power play. So, this class of 1993 Rink, newly built, part of Deerfield's $52 million, well, it was supposed to be $52 million athletic complex. That was when it was proposed. The proposed cost was $52 million. I'm not sure what it actually ended up being. Brand new, beautiful facility, but it's a low ceiling and a metal ceiling here at Deerfield. So the noise comes right up off the roof and bounces back down, and it creates a very loud atmosphere. So we'll have that tonight. It'll be loud, it'll be exciting. It'll keep us in the game for sure. We're right above the student section after all. Here's Clifford coming up the wall. He's centered in front on the high slot. A swing and a miss there by Alicia. It's held in by Deerfield though. Good step of the line by Richards. But St. Paul's will now get an opportunity to bang it out. That was Ong. Played on by Bryce Terry in front of the Deerfield bench there. That should just goes up and out of play. So the face-off will be in front of the Deerfield bench. Head coach Tim McVaugh, his bench. Jake Fillion yet to see a shot here early for Deerfield. Cal Welch only 2. Back out the center, it's deflected in the middle. Deerfield will come up to the line, but no further. Good stick by Cade Cox there, and it's banged down the ice by St. Paul's. If you're St. Paul's here on the road in the most hostile environment that they've played in a season, and actually quite a long time. Typically, St. Paul's not an opponent for teams that are having night games with big crowds on the road. So I wouldn't say new experience, but an experience St. Paul's hasn't had in a while. And if you're the Big Red, you're just trying to weather the storm, really. For this early first period, you know the crowd will come out on the gate, and the crowd will be really, really into it and loud, and they have been. Credit to them. So if you're the Big Red, you're just trying to calm things down and bide your time here in the early goings. Not that they wouldn't want to get a goal. There's a shot from the point by Will Murphy that goes up off the glass. Cade Cox kept the rebound from coming out to the middle. Sam Seibel goes back into his own corner and swings it around, but no one was there. Garzone will come over. The centering pass to the circle was cut off by Josh Halliday, and then bumbled back out to center. Loosing the skates of Cade Cox just inside the line. If you're Deerfield, you obviously want to capitalize in the first 8 minutes of the game. Nice little pass by Seibel. That'll send JT Halliday into the zone. Halliday on his backhand and saved by Fillion. Couldn't pick up the rebound in behind the goal, and Will Murphy will come up with it. In the line it goes. Cade Cox the shot, and that was deflected away as well. Deerfield will just send it out to center. Brad Cox goes down, gloves it, and then shoots it back into the corner where it came from. Murphy will go back to play it. For Isaac Abbott. And then up the right side for Abene. The captain pass. And moving in on the left side is Garzone. He was turned back though by the St. Paul's defense. And Christian Yee, the defender, turns forward, will come the other way. He crunched hard into the boards, and that gets the crowd going. And the backhander just plays right in on goal. You know, Deerfield's going to be hunting after the physicality aspect as well. Another way you want to get the crowd fired up. You can see them all. I wish I could get a good view for you. They're all down in here, right up to the quarter wall. Can't see really well, but they packed the house here at the Class of 93 rink. As we had a feeling they would. Moriarty got that pass just go ahead of him. Good contingent of St. Paul's fans over there to our right, opposing sitting opposite the St. Paul's bench. Maroka, the shot from traffic, that was dangerous. And now they're fighting for the rebound in front. Moriarty couldn't get a piece of it. It's up near the St. Paul's bench now. They battle for it and swing it out to center. Maroka sends it back in on goal. Henry Young sending it around here to the near side. 11:33 left on the clock. A stretch pass to center. Here's Bryce Terry in a one-on-one. Terry to the backhand. He sends it wide of the far post. Sullivan stepping up at the line. He's got a man on the back door. That's Grady. Couldn't get the puck off the wall to him. Now it's in the near corner. Grady doing battle there. Up to the half hole. We can't obviously really see well when the puck's in that left corner, so you have to bear with me. I really have the same sight lines you do. Watching from home. Over here for Alicia. Alicia hit into the corner by Cade Cox. Now it's Molson in behind the goal. Tom Molson couldn't center it. Went off the back of the net. Cox for Sullivan. He's smoked out there, but got it to Cox, blowing a digger in the middle. Blowing a tire in the middle with Alicia. Long stretcher by Cox looking for Jack Roberts. Doesn't go. It's just flipped to open space by Deerfield. 2-2-9 teams that are desperate for a win. Molson off the wall. Takes the shot. Blocked aside there by Grady. And then Sullivan is hit hard behind the net there, giving a hard time in low to the Deerfield play. I'm not sure who number 24 is, not on my roster. That's why I apologize to number 24 and their family, should they be watching. As he marches in on the right side, trying to hold off Cade Cox, the checker. Cox strips him of the puck with a good hit in behind the goal. And again, just another flipper back out of the zone. Both teams content to just get the puck to open space in the neutral zone right now. Especially St. Paul's. Deerfield bringing the forecheck early. Nothing to show for it yet. Josh Halliday, he skates by a man. Oh, he actually drops it off for JT. Back to the front it goes. Josh nearly looked like he was going to get by Will Richards. A good stick by Richards to kind of knock that puck off his tape. Centered here for Seibold, the shot. I don't even think Fillion saw it. Went off of Richards at the side of the goal. Halliday knocked his man down. He's still giving a bump in there for Richards. Getting back to his feet is Forbes, but not in time. Back to the line here, Bohan. Sends it back in low. Sam Seibold. And get around Richards behind the goal. Coutu picked it off the stick and got it to Richards after all. And then it's sent back out to center. Here's Biggs. One of the Deerfield bench playing it further there is Will Murphy. St. Paul takes it back. Bohan, a connecting pass. He'll start the breakout. Brad Cox steps up and fires it in behind the Deerfield goal. Takes a bump there by Murphy. A good play by Cox to get the job done. There's Garzone the other way. The only Deerfield attacker ahead, but knocked off his stick. Chased over there on the far side. Onto the tape of Dylan Biggs now. Gains the red line. He shot it. Oh, he does shoot it in. I thought for a moment he shot it into Luke Panato. And that's where the crowd comes into play. Panato was offside, but Biggs could not hear the referee yelling off. So St. Paul's is going to have this face-off come all the way back down to their own end because it's an intentional offside. If you do not heed the referee's warnings about there being an offside, you're going to get whistled for an intentional offside. And they get a nice face-off play, too. The shot by Cam Herr off the draw was stopped. And Terry was all tied up with the official, it looked like. So wasn't able to get that puck coming out of the zone. It was odd. I wasn't really sure what was going on over there. All tied up over there with Gallant. He couldn't clear the zone. The chopper comes through just off the highest part of the glass, and it stays in. Abene. Good pass to the middle. Drew Deerfield coming through center. Cam Herr across the middle of the ice. Lays it off to the boards. Drew Garzone back in low for Herr. He gets bumped and taken off the puck by Henry Ong, who makes the pass. That connects out of the zone onto the stick of Jack Roberts. Trickling in the middle. Now Roberts taken out of the play. And there's going to be a penalty here. I believe they're going to call a penalty to Deerfield, unless it's just an offside. No, it's just going to be offside, but I mean, if you're going to call offside, you should probably look at why that's offside. And it's offside because it's a penalty. Roberts was taken out. I'm sorry if the feed's a little dark, by the way. There's not really much I can do about that. I would recommend turning up your brightness to the top level. Off the face-off at center. Knocked into the corner by St. Paul. Seibold couldn't come up with it. It's at the side of the goal now. And Deerfield will take it from there. Moriarty couldn't catch up to that puck. Flipped back in by Cade Cox yet again. And Isaac Abbott will turn back for it. Abbott for Moriarty. Out to center comes Moreau. Thomas Moreau sends it in. 7:48 remaining here in the period. Up in the forecheck. Maroka to the side of the goal. Chasing for it there with Moreau. But it wouldn't go. Cal Welch is there to hold on. And we get a stoppage with 7:44 on the clock. It's off to the right. St. Paul's wearing jerseys inspired by the Hobie Baker era teams. Hobie Baker era teams. Sounded like I was really Boston there. Good shot block there by Josh Halliday. He nearly had a breakout pass for his brother JT too, but that just didn't go for him on a knee. Got some play for Josh, who played his first game back from sitting a week out. He had 7 points against Tilton, no points in the loss to Proctor on Wednesday. Sullivan with a chance for a pass. He finds Seibel inside the line for the backhand, and a save by Fillion. Well, if you're St. Paul's, that's the guy whose tape you wanted on. Sam Seibel with his 5 goals and 12 total points on the season, trying to open the scoring, but it just would not go. St. Paul's wins the offensive zone faceoff. Probably go to the backhand, but a good job by Fillion to stick with him. And trying to open up the 5 hole there. And it looked like he kind of did, but maybe he just couldn't stuff it home. It was a nice save by Jake Fillion, who we'll talk about his numbers and Cal Welch's numbers in a moment. I realize I didn't introduce the starting goaltenders. I suppose it's a bit late to do that. 6.5 minutes into the game, Deerfield scores! It's Paul Forbes! Paul Forbes, the post-grad out of Hingham, Mass. He gets loose in the middle and absolutely shells that puck on short notice. It's a great centering pass, and it's a great shot by Forbes. Got to hand it to him. The only way he's beating Cal Welch there is high, and he shoots it high and gets the goal for Deerfield. 1-0 with 6.5 minutes left to go. Here in the first period. Deerfield's been more on the offensive side of things, at least to start the game. They're coming here again. Look out. It's Cam Herb, but the puck gets deflected to the board. Abene gets over there, but his pass goes off the stick and out to center. Nearly intercepted by John Roberts at center and sent back in by Will Murphy. Yeah, they were on the offensive to start, didn't have really anything to show for it, and then St. Paul's kind of got back into things. And then bang! Just a play out of the corner. I was actually thinking about the goaltender number that I was talking about. And you know what? It's in the net off the stick of Forbes, and it's 1-0 Deerfield. There's the class of 93 Rink. On the stick there, a Bloomer for a moment. He gets hit, and it's going to be a penalty to St. Paul's. They're going to call it roughing, and I got to imagine it had to be something from behind. As Josh Halliday is going to go for the box. I didn't see it. And a chance for Deerfield to expand their lead here. And now time for my mandatory, most obvious chant in the world comment. I do it at St. Paul's games too. It's not just because it's a Deerfield crowd saying it that I say that. Deerfield on the power play here. The shot from the point by Abbott. Would not go. Josh Halliday in the box here. St. Paul's already squandered a power play opportunity themselves earlier in the game. It swung across here. It just goes under the stick of the intended target. Murphy was sneaking in down the boards. This puck hits something, possibly on the St. Paul's bench. And the faceoff's going to come back in the SPS zone. You can't do that is never one of my favorite chants. Face off to the right here. Deerfield makes changes with a minute and 30 seconds left to go in the power play. St. Paul's does not, and Deerfield wins the face-off. Diffley off the draw to the boards for Gallant. Gallant in below the goal line. He gets the pass back off the stick of Alicia. Now to the front of the goal. And we get a whistle. I'm assuming that one went out of play of some sort. I'm missing the big moments right now. I'm sorry. Another face-off. Good win there in the dot by Cam Herm. Molson at the line. Oh, sorry, no, Diffley at the line. Again for Gallant. Alicia. They move it in low. Here's a shot by Gallant. It just goes wide of the goal. Cycle back in low. Laying a hit in there is her on Jake Sullivan. Biggs chases his man down. Diffley will get it back at the point now from Bloomer. Diffley over there for Gallant. The shot from the top of the circle is seen all the way by Cal Welch. And heads will roll. Comes over the loudspeakers with another stoppage. 50 seconds left to go. That'll get the crowd into it. Gets me into it. It's a good song. Do this face-off again, some slashing off the face-off between Cade Cox and looks like Tom Molson. St. Paul's nearly had it off the draw, but Cox couldn't find it. Deerfield recovers. Will Murphy in the corner. Back to the line it goes. This first group out there on the power play again for Deerfield with 36 seconds left to go. Abene over there from Murphy. Murphy back to the line. Abbott this ways for Garzone, but it went off his stick. Now pinned up along the board. Roberts working Garzone over, and it does come out. Good work in there by Jack Roberts. It draws some applause from the St. Paul's parents in attendance. Murphy comes into the zone, swings it into the far corner for Deerfield. Under 4 minutes to play in the period. Chopped out by Roberts. He couldn't clear it. One-timer here by Murphy. A good pass by Molson, too. And it was stopped with the blocker by Welch. And now Roberts the other way shorthanded. A long shot. Just deflected away by Fillion. The power play just about over for Deerfield. So now it's the Big Green who up a goal. Squander an opportunity to go up two. Molson is not doing it all by himself. He's on the goal line. Molson flips it at the side of the goal. And Welch didn't know where it was, but he made the save. And St. Paul's will come the other way, having just killed off the penalty. Josh Halliday, a nifty little move there as he hit the circle. Pass to the middle of the ice starts the breakout for Deerfield. Dangerous area to start your breakout. Gallant. Good poke there by Sam Seibold. Standing up Gallant to the line. It'll send Max Abene back for it. For Moriarty. Johnny Moriarty off the board. St. Paul's takes it back. It's flipped into the zone by Bohan. Really one-timed into the zone by Conley, rather. Johnny Moriarty cuts to the middle. Makes the pass up the left side. Deerfield. A cross-ice pass, and they'll come in now. The shot was stopped by Welch. Just in front of the circles and rebound. He let him get to the rebound, too. Again, that's our nameless player. Creating a great opportunity for himself in front. That pass to the middle was knocked away. Chasing it over there is now Will Richards. Richards this away. Gallant, he shoots. They made rebound. It's in front, and it's knocked up. Yeah, not a play. The last tap, I think, went to Jackson Couture. The numbers for Cal Welch between the St. Paul's Pipes. This year, 451 minutes, 3.47 goals against average, and a .911 save percentage. He did not play in Wednesday's loss to Proctor. We'll give you Jake Fillion's numbers in the next break. St. Paul slots it back out to center, and we have a stoppage. They're going to call it a hand pass against Deerfield. Or rather against St. Paul's, it looks like. So it'll come back to the face-off circle. In goal, Jake Fillion, the former Winchendon player, played for Winchendon in 2019-20 and then 2020-21. He had a 3.84 goals against average and an .897 save percentage in 11 games played at Winchendon in 2020. He had a 3.46 goals against average and an .887 save percentage this year in 6 games played for Deerfield, who was knocking right on the door there in front. Oh, and then hit hard over there by Forbes is on, and then there was some extra stuff too thrown in there by Couture. This should be a penalty to Deerfield, I would imagine. It's going to be Forbes. I think it was actually Matt Grady who took the initial hit, perhaps. Forbes is going to go to the box. And St. Paul's back to the power play here with 2 minutes and 6 seconds left in the period. And this is a big power play for St. Paul's, everybody. There's no doubt in my mind about it. Trailing 1-0 here early. St. Paul's, who had a power play early in the game against Proctor and couldn't score. Lost that one 5-2. They have a power play here early against Deerfield, don't score, and they're losing 1-0. So this is big if they can tie it before the end of the period. Moving it around right in front of us, they'll play Sullivan for Cox over there on the far side. No shot yet for St. Paul's. Sullivan right point, or near point I should say. It's rather the left point for St. Paul's. Sullivan now moving to the middle. That's Josh Halliday, top of the near circle, in low for JT. JT, quick centering pass. And it just went off the stick of Philly in and out the other side. Cade Cox to Sam Seibel along the half wall, cycling it in low there. Josh Halliday trying to get away from a checker, kicks it to Seibel. He's under pressure, loses it. Deerfield nearly has it out. It's dug back by Cox, though. Chance for St. Paul's here. Josh along the goal line for JT in front. Comes back for Sullivan. Sullivan for Cox. He shoots, goes off a leg. JT couldn't move it back to the line. Abene gets in there. And clears it for Deerfield. A quick up here by Cox. Deerfield changing. St. Paul's will not. Swatted around by Sullivan. There to meet it first is Halliday. A minute left to play in the period. Already a big moment in this hockey game, especially if you're a big Red fan. Here's Sullivan off the wall. Halliday back on the wall. Sam Seibel in the corner. 42 seconds left to go in the power play. 45 seconds left in the period. Sullivan shooting! Saved by Fillion, just barely. And the rebound deflects to the boards. Halliday for Sullivan, back for JT. Coming off the wall with a shot, looking for the corner. Goes off the glass. Cox on the half wall, under 30 seconds to play in the period. They wait around, 20 seconds left. Cox shoots, and it's stopped by Jake Fillion. Good power play there for St. Paul's. There's still 19 seconds remaining in it. They got the puck moving around. Very, very dangerous, I will say, with Cade Cox battling that puck out at the line, because if he didn't win that puck in front of the Deerfield bench there, Deerfield would have been going the other way, 2-on-0 likely. Or maybe 2-on-1, maybe Sullivan might have been back there, but dangerous nonetheless. Deerfield wins the face-off here and sends it all the way down the ice. So really dangerous opportunities afforded for both teams. Babcock waiting things out with 10 seconds left, perhaps satisfied to go to the locker room trailing by a goal here. Brady misses Conley Bohan on the pass. No icing against St. Paul's. 2 seconds left. The centering pass comes out for Cox. He shoots and getting in the way of it was DeLance. So on a Friday night in Deerfield, we have hit the first intermission. It's a goal by Paul Forbes. It stands as our only marker, and Deerfield leads St. Paul's for the first time in 35 years. 1-0 to score. After one, Deerfield will be back with you in a second, just after this break. Deerfield and St. Paul's take to the ice here for the second period. They will switch sides and be ready to go when the puck drops. It's Deerfield up 1-0 on a goal by Paul Forbes, the Hingham, Mass native, his second goal of the year and his second goal of his Deerfield career to put Deerfield up 1-0. The Big Green outshot the Big Red 12-8 in that first period. St. Paul's had 2 power plays and was unable to score on either one. Those power plays coming at the very beginning and the very end of that first period. Deerfield also had a power play in the middle. They weren't able to score either. I'd say Deerfield probably had the better of the play in the first half. They certainly had the better of the goals in the first period. St. Paul's will come from our left to right. They are wearing the white uniforms, harkening back to the days of Hobie Baker with the SPS and the cross sticks. They're clean. They're looking sharp out there, in my opinion. Of course, I'm a little biased. I had something to do with designing them. But they look nice. It was supposed to be a throwback uniform day for Deerfield as well. However, they've elected not to wear their Deerfield 100 Years of Hockey uniforms because a lot of the events were canceled this weekend due to COVID. Nonetheless, we have this game. It's a packed house right above the student section, which was loud and into it in the first period, and you can expect the same for sure here in the second. All right, face-off at center. It'll be Josh Halliday and Drew Garzone, and Josh wins it right on back for Jake Sullivan. We're underway here to start the second period. Deerfield coming from right to left. St. Paul's from left to right and flipped into the far corner for Deerfield. Seibold up there chasing it down. St. Paul's in hunt for a goal right off the top of this period. We saw what happened Wednesday when they let a 1-goal deficit hang around. It turned into a 2 and then a 3. Hold on a moment. Here comes Garzone on the right side. Garzone with a shot. Save is made by Cal Welch, and St. Paul's will turn it back the other way as Cox flips it out to center. St. Paul's 0-5 when they don't score the first goal, which of course they didn't tonight. And JT Halliday is going to get called for a penalty here on that hit you saw just below us. That's a tough call if you ask me. Deerfield's going to head to the power play. I'm not even sure what the call is. I guess the Big Green player was in somewhat of a compromised position, but Deerfield's second power play of the game. They're 0 for 1. They had a power play right after they scored in the first period. They had a chance to make it 2-0. They couldn't do that. Leading 1-0 with JT Halliday in the box for St. Paul's. We'll see what they can do. Down below the goal line, turning with it there is Jesse Alicia, but he lost it. Good stick check by Cade Cox. Brady rifles it up to the line, and it gets over the stick of Gallant and back out to center. Good press there by Matt Brady, but Gallant comes back into his zone. He gets at the bottom of the left circle, cuts to the front of the net. It flows for Alicia, and it hits his own player. Cal Welch was dragged all the way out of the net there by the Deerfield. I don't want to say forechecker. He was more of a rusher. Joining that rush, John Bloomer. St. Paul's penalty kill goes back to the action. I don't know if that is a, they're talking about whether the net came off there. The faceoff's going to be out of the zone. Tim McFaul getting the explanation over there on the Deerfield bench. St. Paul's penalty kill this season working at about an 83.3% clip. They've allowed 6 goals in 36 attempts. 6 goals in 37 attempts, so it's just over 83.3 now. Here comes Isaac Abbott back into the zone. Abbott swings it on around there. A Benet. At the line, here's Will Murphy. Abbott, left point. Good pass all the way across. They're working around quickly now. Down high, Garzone. Over this way is Will Murphy's shot. It was blocked by Jake Sullivan. St. Paul's senior from Concord, New Hampshire. A hometown boy getting in the way of that puck. Big hit along the wall as it comes back out for Abbott, the shot. And it hit his home player in front. Going down was Molson, and he's in some pain now. He'll get up in the forecheck as Cade Cox swings it all the way around, and he meets Sam Seibold there in front of the St. Paul's bench. And Sam does the rest of the work. 46 seconds left to go in the penalty kill. Will Murphy will break things out. Isaac Abbott on the left side comes in across the blue line, looks to the middle. That's a Benet. Looking back in low for Abbott. Conley Bohan bumped away from him. It's tossed to the side of the goal. Swung up by Josh Halliday, but not out. Abene left points. Over there for Gallant. Gallant leaves it to the wall, but no one really there. Terry will just rim it all the way around the glass and back to neutral zone. And all the way through the neutral zone, actually. It's going to go all the way down. Great play by Bryce Terry. Just smartly wrap things out. St. Paul's well rested. They didn't have classes today at the COVID vaccination clinic in town yesterday. The school administration took the opportunity for a holiday. Hold on a moment. Score! Johnny Moriarty. Off the bench and into the back of the net, the hometown boy, Johnny Moriarty, his first career Deerfield goal. He didn't have a goal last year as part of the squad, not a goal this year, and he gets a big one in the big game tonight. Deerfield looking for three, it's on the doorstep, scores! Paul Forbes again. St. Paul's is going to take their timeout, rightfully so. I didn't even get the time to break down the first goal before Paul Forbes gets his second of the game. That one, the rebound just gets loose. St. Paul's, they blitzed him off the faceoff. And good on Deerfield. And the crowd's probably right here with their analysis of St. Paul's being a bit rattled after the first Deerfield goal in this period scored by Moriarty. Moriarty on that play, I don't even know if it'll go down to the power play goal, but he gets lost coming off the bench. There's no one within a country mile of him as he stepped into a shot at the circle. And let me tell you, he wound that thing up too. Just beat Cal Welch clean and hard up high. And then St. Paul's has proven to be susceptible at times to giving up a goal after giving up a second goal after they've just allowed one. Hasn't happened yet again here. It's 2 goals in 10 seconds for Deerfield. Crashing the goal there also was Coutu and Cam Herr. But it's Paul Forbes who's in front to clean up the garbage. And it's 3-0 Deerfield. Not the start you wanted in the second, which was St. Paul's. A penalty, a goal, and then you give up one right after that. And things quickly in the tubes for the Big Red. Down in Deerfield, Mass. Now, Deerfield 2-9, St. Paul's 2-9-1, but they're very different 2-9 teams. Coming up here is Moriarty, shot into the glove of Welch. Deerfield's lost a lot of close games this year. Trying to find the exact numbers for you. Deerfield is, I mentioned they're good at giving up goals. They're not really good at scoring them. They've scored 3 on the board here. They're not giving up any. They're only giving up about 2, just over 2 a game. And it's tipped into the zone. Seibold couldn't get up there on the forecheck for it. Now Josh Halliday coming up with it, trying to center it for Seibold. Went off a leg in low. It's JT coming out in front, looking for Sam, and he whisks it wide, up and out of play. Good response from St. Paul's, perhaps just a bit too chaotic in front, though. But yeah, continuing on that thought, Deerfield only once allowed 5 goals or more. St. Paul's has done that 5 times they've allowed 5 goals or more. And the average game margin in Deerfield's games are about 2. And St. Paul's is about 3, so Deerfield keeps their opponents closer. St. Paul's answers off the face-off. It's Sam Seibold. A great face-off play out of the Big Red, and they're on the board here at the 93 Rink. The crowd playing Happy Birthday right now, showing how much they don't care. Comeback start from being down, and St. Paul down by 3. Josh Halliday just whisks that puck to the face-off, to the goal after the face-off. Sam Seibold beats his check and beats Jake Fillion for the first time tonight. Oh, big rebound coming by Terry. Got up there. He couldn't center it to the front of the goal. We'll see what St. Paul's can do now with a window of opportunity, trailing only by 2 as opposed to by 3. Turn back onto the stick of Jack Roberts. This is a game of history. In my readings before this one, I think I skipped over it in the pregame introduction as Molson comes up in the head here. And, back in 1964, I sound like a real old geezer now. St. Paul's was beating Deerfield 3-0. Deerfield came all the way back to tie the game at 3 with 3 goals in the third, so you just never know, folks. St. Paul's on the board here. It's turned over onto the stick of J.T. Halliday. Tosses it up the left side. Matt Grady disaways. Sam Seibold goes back in low. St. Paul's in the process of a change right now as Josh Halliday comes over the boards for Grady. Seibold is tumbled. Josh coming out of the deep for JT. The pass goes into some legs there. Bounded up the boards, but not out. Cox a good pinch to line, but JT can't hold it. And the other way, here comes Clifford on the right side. Clifford stops. He's hit there by Josh Halliday. St. Paul's been victimized for 2 penalties in this game. Deerfield for 2 as well. 12:50 remaining in the period. It's 3-1 Deerfield. They've got 2 goals in the second period, and the linesman hits the ice. Just couldn't get out of the way in time, and it ended up being a collision on the blue line. And the linesman goes down too. Typically, it's a big cheer when a St. Paul's guy gets hit. That time, it was a St. Paul's player hitting a Deerfield player, but they cheered anyways here. No hate on the referees. Most sports fans do love to hate them, though. No different down here in Deerfield. Here comes the goal scorer, Moriarty. A big one for him, his first career goal. Forbes, he's got 2. It's back on his stick on hat-trick watch here against St. Paul's. The pass just misses the mark. They battle away down in front of the student section, and St. Paul's will come the other way. Biggs with Yee. Biggs is pushed to the outside as he flips that puck into the corner there. Spencer Gallant wins the battle, flips it back in behind the net. Couture. Tangled up and going down is Yee. Deerfield struggling to come out now. They will. Gallant, a nice little tip. And up ice comes Jackson Couture. Couture on the outside. Watched there by Bohan, who gives him a bump. Couture centers. He comes all the way out to the point for Gallant. Gallant to the boards. Couture all the way around once more. Catching up to it here is Brad Cox, and he will just shunted out of the zone. And right back in by Deerfield. He's winning a lot of the puck battles here. They just look a bit stronger on things right now than St. Paul's does. This is beautiful offside perhaps. Both these 2 teams, road warriors. This is Deerfield's second home game. And their last home game was only last week when they played and beat Trinity Pawling. St. Paul's also only 2 home games under their belts. Happy to be home tomorrow against Vermont Academy, which starts a stretch of, I believe, 4 straight home games. This will be icing against St. Paul's. Deerfield will end their year, for what it's worth, with 7 of the last 9 games at home. So, despite not having a home game until the middle of January, they're going to be pretty much home all the time in February. So, you can take the trade as you may. I like a balanced schedule. I don't know if I would like that, but probably looking at things now, having gotten through the thick of it, Deerfield's okay with it. Here comes Brady up ice. He's the lone attacker for St. Paul's right now. He flips it in below the goal line. Isaac Abbott gives him a ride into the boards. It comes up for Moroka. Turned over though. Terry shooting. And a save is made by Philly. And there's going to be a penalty up in the air. It's going to go to St. Paul's. I'm not sure what this is about. We're going to call cross-checking behind the play. And Grady, who is St. Paul's most penalized player, is going to go to the box. If that's a cross-check, I mean, I didn't see it, but the fact that I didn't see it and it was behind the play in the offensive zone, I'm led to believe that's got to be a pretty marginal call. McGrady in the box for a cross-check. Deerfield power play, 1 for 2. I'm not actually sure if the Moriarty goal is a power play goal or if the power play just expired. Oh, swing and a miss there by Murphy. He had some cage to look at too, and St. Paul's takes the opportunity to get it all the way down the ice. So I'm not sure about what they actually are. I would say it's about 1 for 2 though. Up ice it comes. Moving with it here is Abene. Abene goes into the corner. Molson rotates behind the net. Molson has a close jump over his stick though. Cox plays it around. It's loose in the skates of Abbott. Sorry, no, that's Garzone. Cox just flies it up ice. That's Josh Halliday in the corner first for it, actually, on the penalty kill. He's up there with his brother JT. Now it's Abbott. Sorry about that. For Garzone right side. Garzone hits the line with speed. Goes around the outside. Back of the net now coming around the near corner. Garzone still holding on it, but he's going to do a lap. Top of the key. Back to the side of the goal it goes. Molson just couldn't get a good piece of it. St. Paul flips it up to the line, but not out. Gallant for Garzone. Along the right wall, Garzone shoots, save made, big rebound. And swung to the board by Cox. It goes off the leg of Garzone, but not out. Back on the wall, Garzone again for Molson again. Gets away from him in the corner for Halliday. He gets it up and by Abbott for a clear for St. Paul's. 9:18 remaining here in the second. Still 3-1 Deerfield. Those 2 goals in quick succession. I have a feeling this game not over yet, but we'll see just how big of a price St. Paul's will have to pay for those as Alicia comes into the zone. Jesse Alicia, he's tumbled, and it's going to be a penalty to St. Paul's. I didn't see it in the corner, but it was a hard hit. And Deerfield's going to go to a 5-on-3 power play. And St. Paul's really in some penalty trouble now. They might be taking a Deerfield player here too. Yes, they are. Looks like John Bloomer's going to go to the box as well. It's going to be 4-on-4. Deerfield crowd staying into it. That was kind of a fun one. I'd never seen that chant before. Faceoff's going to come out to center there. Deerfield, I would imagine, is not happy about this call. And now they're going to bring the faceoff back into the zone. This will actually be a 4-on-3 power play for Deerfield. A big opportunity. 4-on-3, then it'll be 4-on-4. It's only a 4-on-3 for 11 seconds. I'm imagining that the Deerfield penalty is for something after the play. The Sullivan penalty is the hit. Jack Roberts getting pulled on the ice so we get the proper amount of skaters out there. All this happening in our blind spot down to our left, so I'm not really sure what it's all about. Maybe you guys had a better look at it. I did not. They're still postulating over this, and now it's not going to be a 5-on-3. It's going to be still a 5-on-4 power play, and those penalties will offset. And so really a missed opportunity there for Deerfield. Deerfield gets the worst out of that because a 4-on-3 is much different than a 5-on-4, folks. Shot off the face-off there by Gallant, goes wide of the goal. So St. Paul's has killed the penalty, and there won't be another penalty after that on the Sullivan play. So big kill there for the Big Red. 8:40 left to play in the period. Swung all the way around. We are at even strength after all of that. Just remember that, folks. Back down there with Terry. Cal Welch, the goaltender, looking for a call, and he's got it. Deerfield touches up, and the referees tosses. I'll give my thoughts on this in a moment. I want to make sure I get the right guy. Going to the box there, Gallant. And now there'll be a power play for St. Paul's. You got to score here if you're St. Paul's, you got to think, right? You've had only two opportunities on the power play, so maybe not. But no power play goals. Well, power play goal at the end of the Proctor game. And they had a couple of opportunities on the power play against the Hornets as well. Big opportunity here for the Big Red. JT Halliday off the face-off, catching the pass, but couldn't do anything with it. And just held in for a moment, not for long by Brad Cox. Swinging around with it at center now is Garzone, and he'll just slip it in on Cal Welch, who leaves it aside. The referees, I tend to believe, I've watched a lot of prep school hockey. And having grown up with my dad being a coach, and when there's a large crowd and it's loud, it's hard for people to think, and that includes the referees, so they tend on the side of calling more penalties than fewer. When there's such a big crowd, we'll get on them from time to time, as you can imagine. There's Seibel, the shot! Oh, it got through Fillion! It got through him, but it just went wide of the goal. St. Paul's working around here on the power play now that has 1 minute and 10 seconds left in it. JT Halliday left point, in low. A long pass for Josh. Brad Cox working the key. It goes back onto the stick of a Deerfield player who will send it all the way down. Yeah, I just tend to believe that referees call more penalties. That's certainly been true tonight. I don't have the full total for you. Deerfield out shooting this St. Paul's in this period mightily. St. Paul's only 3 shots on goal in the second right now. Seibel works in, works wide. He's got the lone goal for St. Paul's. Seibel kicks it back to the line. Christian Yee right back to him. Able to cross. The pass was fluttering on Cade Cox. He can't settle it. Cade now comes to the circle. He took one looking for a tip by Seibel in the middle. Now it's Grady in low. Grady to the line. Yee is being pressured and he's tumbled after the puck got away. And they're all tied up there. Yee was being given a real hard time. And it really probably should have been a penalty to Deerfield. It's all out of our picture. I apologize about that. As the play was going on, St. Paul's nearly had a scoring opportunity. Garzone was giving Christian Yee a hard time. It's picked off at center. Deerfield has killed the minor, and in comes Moriarty. Connor Moriarty, the shot. His brother Johnny already has the goal, but he's stopped by Cal Welch. Johnny and Connor Moriarty, both Deerfield Mass natives. Johnny a junior, Connor a sophomore. An 11-degree night here in Deerfield, a frigid night to fit a frigid month of January. Look out, this puck bouncing in front for Moriarty and flying in there was Ong to make the defensing play. Hit hard is Isaac Abbott as he takes the shots, looking for a penalty. Grady comes in there flying for a check. Nice little move over there by Maroka. And now Ong is felled behind the goal. No penalty there. Now you know what happens, right? Like, the referees call a lot of penalties and then everyone's looking for him. Toss across here for Abbott. St. Paul's couldn't clear the zone. Abbott to the front and unable to get there in time was Billy Maroka. Maybe get a screen. So still 3-1 with 5:40 left to play in the period. Deerfield on a major slide in the middle of the year. They dropped 8 games after their opening season win at NMH, 8 in a row. Doing well right now. They beat Trinity Pauling last week. They lost to KUA, but they're back here against St. Paul's and choked. They're going to turn the season around. Luke's in front. They got a lead in this one, looking to make it 4. A scramble and a shot by Bloomer. Just goes wide of the cage. Bloomer's calling for it again in the middle. They send it to the front instead. Chasing around there with Alicia. But there's no rebound from Cal Welch. I don't think St. Paul's can afford to allow a 4th, to be quite honest with you. You just never know. That's what makes this sport so beautiful. Off the face-off, Johnny Moriarty puts it in. Oh, Alicia trying to get it in front of Bloomer. Couldn't do that, and St. Paul's quickly comes the other way. Rather, the pass was into the skates of Moriarty, who turned it back quickly for Deerfield. They're up there hard on the forecheck. Molson gives Jake Sullivan a ride. Cade Cox now, stretch pass. Sam Seibold bobbling with it at the line. He finds Josh Halliday coming into the zone. Halliday along the goal line, going all the way around, looking for options. Swings it back to the front, but no one was there for St. Paul's. Seibold is spread to the outside. Now here's Josh Halliday in back of the goal again. Comes out to the right corner. Jake Sullivan at the line. St. Paul's trying to make it 3-2. To the side of the goal it goes. Batted away by Moriarty and all the way out of the zone. Entire Deerfield guys out there, but St. Paul's gives them a pass. They shoot it up and out of play. And will they be allowed to change? Yeah, they will. The face-off will be right at center ice. St. Paul's wearing those very nice-looking throwback uniforms. The 127th St. Paul's boys varsity team against the 100th Deerfield boys varsity team. In a chippy contest this one has. Deerfield leading 2-1. Grady has his stick knocked out of his hands, looking for a penalty. He won't get one. As in comes Forbes, looking for a hat trick. The pass back to him by Couture just missed. It comes out the far side. They work it back to the line quickly now. Left side, Abbott shoots, tipped in front by Forbes. Just goes wide. Forbes has it off the wall. Now looking in front. The centering pass hit a leg. Abbott at the circle shoots off the pad. It's loose in front. Forbes was digging for it. Couture was in there too. Back to the line, but not out. St. Paul's can't clear it past Abbott. He's got plenty of time. D for Richards. Richards to the half wall. He gets it back here. Tosses it in back of the goal now. Forbes wasn't able to pick it up. Abbott comes in from the line with a shot off that wall. And it's just stopped by Cal Welch. He'll get a whistle. Tell you what, if St. Paul's, who is hung in there after getting shelled at the beginning of this period, if they can add one before the end of it, that'd be good. Whew. Shot off the face-off by Max Abene. Abene, a senior out of Los Gatos, California. One of the captains of this team. Good shot off the draw there. Deerfield wins it back again. Abene calling for it at the side. They can't work it to him, though. All tied up back there with Garzone. And he gets tipped over by Cade Cox. Cox spinning around with the puck. He's got no options. Garzone right on him, so he just throws it up the middle and actually makes a nice little pass. Jack Michaud will come in, trying to drive to the goal. Michaud tips it to the front. It was knocked out of there, though. Knocked out of the middle of the ice. Good job by Will Murphy. Playing some good D on the St. Paul's Junior from Colorado. Jack Michaud. It's in the St. Paul's end right now. 3 minutes left to play in the second period. Deerfield 3, St. Paul's 1. Back out to center. Here's Michaud. They'll go into the forecheck for it. Back there, Ryan Diffley. Diffley has the stick come caroling out of his hand. It'll come back to the line. Yee kicking at it, and it's cleared. Actually out to center. Murphy. Here's Mavoke. He gets stood up and he turned it over. JT Halliday chucked it away, though. Couldn't settle the bouncing puck in between the circles. Seibold goes back to the front. It's once more cut off. St. Paul's trying to get pucks to the net, but Deerfield just getting in the way of them. The shots are just easy enough to handle for the defenseman, and they don't even make it to the goaltender. That's an oversimplification of things, but I guess it's true. Big Green leading Big Red right now. He has to be careful not to turn it over at the side of the goal. He does get it to Brad Cox, who just one-hands the puck into the zone. Sam Seibold goes crashing in there with Moriarty. Moriarty able to clear it, or make the pass to clear it easily. Cox and in. Moriarty back there, under 2 to play. St. Paul's converges on the forecheck. Can they come up with the puck? It's turned over on the wall. Rotated to the front by Halliday. Coming in now is Cade Cox at the line. Cox goes into the corner, swings it to the front of the goal. It's cut off again by a Deerfield stick. I'm telling you, Deerfield's not even going down to a knee to block passes and shots. They're just going right to their sticks. I feel like I've seen that more in the second period than any period in my life. This one gets by. JT sends one to the front again. Gallant just clears it to the board. Sent to the front off the wall by Halliday. And stopped by Fillion all the way out of the zone. Sam Seibold, the only goal for St. Paul's. Forbes has 2 for Deerfield. Here comes Grady. Blocked aside by Johnny Moriarty. It'll come back to the line here. Sullivan the shot. Oh, it took a deflection, but Terry not able to get a piece of it. Bryce now in back of the goal. Centers all the way up and out of the zone. Where Sullivan will back up with it. St. Paul's pressing here, but nothing around the front of the net. Been their trouble in this game. They've worked their shot total up to 6 this period. Deerfield has about double that. 30 seconds to play. We'll see if St. Paul's can add anything late. Alicia is knocked down by Grady. The puck came free, but Gallant was there. They'll force it up and actually walk out with it. Gallant across the D at center. This away from Bloomer. But Bloomer just a little too excited here at the line. And the doors are offside. And 11 seconds to go. Here's a chance for St. Paul's. It's Josh Halliday kicking, and he can't kick it from skate to stick. And that should about do it. 3 seconds left. One last chance for Deerfield. And that will be the period. So St. Paul's gets on the board, but not before Deerfield gets 2 more, and they lead 3-1 after 2 here from the class of 1993 Rink. We'll let the dance recommence in between periods. It's half hockey game, half dance here from Deerfield. And the party's on, and it will be on all night if this score remains. Deerfield 3-1 as we head to the third. Welcome back, everybody. They're raising the roof here at the Class of '93 Rink. As I said at the end of the second period, it's half hockey game, half school dance here in Deerfield. We're playing all the hits in the second period, and it's actually quite fun to watch the crowd. And we are right above. You can see them. They're right down here. They packed the house over here and bouncing around to the likes of YMCA and John Denver's Country Roads. And of course, Don't Stop Believin'. That should be St. Paul's song here in the third period as they come in trailing 3-1, looking to avoid dropping to 2-10-1 on the season. Deerfield looking to pick up their third win of the year. And all Jake Fillion has to do is keep St. Paul's off the board in this third period, and he will have that. Deerfield out shooting St. Paul's 26-14 as we enter the second period. It's just been a story of St. Paul's unable to get pucks to the front of the net. Fillion hasn't been challenged all that much tonight by the Big Red, who will come from right to left in this period. Cal Welch has had to make a couple of really good saves for St. Paul's. Deerfield will come from left to right. They have goals by Paul Forbes, who has 2, and Johnny Moriarty. The real big moment of the game came in the second period early on, where Deerfield, at the end of a power play, got a goal by Moriarty, and then right off the center ice faceoff, they went down and scored again. Forbes got his second, lingering around the net, poking in a rebound. So we're underway here in the third, and there's one of the goal scorers, Johnny Moriarty himself, playing it up to the boards. And swung on by Sullivan at the line, and Deerfield will go the other way. Garzone coming in, but getting back there, JT Halliday to take away the puck. Halliday goes down in the fresh sheet as St. Paul's comes up and ahead. Got passed by Cade Cox through Josh Halliday just a bit, so they have to track back for it now. Through him by which I mean deceived him. Spencer Gallant comes up with the puck here. He'll wrap it on around. Max Abene to the middle of the ice. It goes all the way across to the far side. Garzone is over there. He'll come into the zone now. Garzone's shot. Ooh, it got Welch up high. And the rebound dropped right in front of him, but Cal able to make the save, and St. Paul's gets it away from danger. Just ahead of Bryce Terry here. Ooh, they're going to call it for icing. That's a real tight call. Halliday trying to put that puck in front of Terry. He wasn't trying to put it in the corner. It was just a pass that he put out in front of Bryce. Instead, it goes too far to get caught for icing. So now St. Paul's got to put guys back on the ice and come off. And a little complex. Face-off beat to the right of Cal Welch, and St. Paul's wins it to the corner. Cade Cox stops and starts. He sends Molson one way, and now we'll come back the other way. Molson was looking for some sort of penalty. I don't know what that would have been. This one won't be icing as Sam Sabo goes into the forecheck. He goes down as he crashes into Will Murphy. Alicia. To the right side here comes Molson. Out of the middle of the ice, Terry can't really dig it off the boards, and now he's in some trouble working down into the corner. Terry just has to chuck it behind his own goal where Conley Bohan's there. They'll go back up the board for Jack Roberts, who fans on the puck. St. Paul struggling to get it out here. Brad Cox, Bohan's pass, stopping there is Roberts, and now they will clear the zone. Quickly turned back by Deerfield, though. Deerfield started the attack. Molson lays it into the middle. He's going there. Was Clifford. But he just couldn't get a stick on it. Brad Cox will come the other way. Time is of the essence for St. Paul's. And right now they're on their heels as Moriarty comes through. Johnny Moriarty on the backhand. Couldn't toss one to the front of the net. Coutu now backs it up to the line. The shot there goes up and over the St. Paul's cage. Looked like it might have been going out of play for a minute. Diffley will throw it to the front. And we just get a stoppage. St. Paul's allowing, on average, 3.67 a game, scoring 2.5. Deerfield only allowing 2.1, perhaps. This is just off of memory. goals against, so it's going to be tough for St. Paul's to get back in this game if that metric is a marker. Here's Couture. Leaves it off at the line. It's sent back to the front of the net, cut off by Cade Cox, though. Will Richards had the pass. Cade Cox will lead the attack for St. Paul's, so just toss one in our goal. Couture was driving the net. Richards tried to give it to him, but it's just Cox getting in front there. We're going to stoppage with 15, 17 remaining here in the period. The Deerfield crowd is quieted just a little bit. A slow start to the third period in comparison to the way the second period started, which included 2 goals for Deerfield and the penalty against St. Paul's just right off the bat. They're swiping away at this puck St. Paul's in. It's him back at the goal. Cade Cox steps up for it, reverses, but it goes right onto a Deerfield stick, and they'll come back the other way. There's Moriarty, right side corner. Moriarty kept out of the middle by JT Halliday. Now off the wall comes Maroka, but he couldn't keep it on his stick either, and it's cleared back out to center by St. Paul's. Dumped in by the Big Green. Back forward is Cade Cox. The 2-15s go in there. Moriarty nearly freed that puck up, but St. Paul's does come clear to center. Josh Halliday with his brother JT across the line. It's tipped back for Cox, a little backhander, and Fillion makes the save. Fillion likes the butterfly. He's sliding around a lot in that Deerfield goal. I noticed that. He does make a save. Well, he's had to make a save this game, typically with the pad. And across the line here, a shot by Seiberg. And going down to make the save from distance was Fillion. Turned over in the middle. Look out here for Cox. He sends one to the front of the goal, but it misses wide of the front of the goal. It just runs off the glass, and Deerfield able to toss it out to center again. Conley Bohan back into the zone. St. Paul's changing behind the play, so the first guy in there is the centerman, Matt Grady. He came over the boards first. Zone, stripped to the puck by Terry there in neutral territory. Jack Roberts. He gains the red lines, dumps it in deep. St. Paul's needs 2. They trail 3-1, and Terry is hit from behind. That was cleanly to the numbers. And yeah, no question about that one. No analysis necessary. That'll be a penalty to Deerfield. And Johnny Moriarty just hammers Bryce Terry in the back. It's very easy when a guy's wearing number 11 to know that if those numbers are parallel and facing you when there's a check, it's a hit from behind. A 2-minute penalty to Moriarty for boarding, I would imagine. And this is a big power play for St. Paul's. They've had multiple opportunities on the power play. They've been not able to capitalize so far. Are they calling that a hand pass? Or did it come out of the zone? I'm not even sure there. But the hand pass, I think that's a pretty poor call, although St. Paul's not contesting it too much. Huh. Interesting. I don't know how many penalties there actually been, but St. Paul's has had at least 3 power play opportunities, and they've just been not able to make Deerfield pay. And so they've been able to, keep taking penalties. Here comes Terry. Maybe he can make Deerfield pay here. St. Paul's needs a goal. Down by 2 with 13 minutes to play. This is the sweet spot if you want to start a comeback. 13 minutes left. You got to start it now. If you work down to 5 minutes, then it gets a little tight. St. Paul's is Grady is still being held to the ice down there. That should be a penalty. Instead it's Terry, and he hits the goal post. Oh, everyone in the rink was watching Grady being pushed to the ice over there on the far half wall. And unbeknownst to most in this rink, Bryce Terry was right between the circles and he nearly beat Jake Fillion. Can't do that. And it's still 3-1. St. Paul's gets it off the faceoff. Sullivan right point to Cox left point. They'll do a little switcheroo. Up high, Cox's shot goes hard off a body and into the corner. Josh Halliday was there first. Here's JT. It's chased away from him. Sullivan coming off the wall. The pass off the skate of Cox and out of the zone. Great pressure there by Abene. He forces Cox to bobble that puck. And now Cade getting by a big check along the wall here. Deerfield player goes crashing into the boards. He missed Cox, and then Cox with the pass misses Sullivan. It'll come back out of the zone. The puck goes right to Abene. He takes his time and shoots it down now. No problem. with that. A great chance for Terry. Here comes Josh Halliday again wide into the corner. Leaves it off to Seibold there. On the board, Sullivan, he's all tied up. Seibold, oh, he tried to force that pass through, he can't. And St. Paul's really turning over, and center Cox has some fancy stick work to work away from trouble. He's got it inside the Deerfield line, gets checked over there, and loses it. And the big green swatted all the way down. This will be icing, or no, it won't be. Jeez. Typically that's icing, and I always bemoan that that's icing, but Deerfield gets the benefit of the doubt here. St. Paul's offside at the line. The power play was over, so they could have called icing. St. Paul's again coming up empty-handed on the man advantage. I think that's 0 for 4 in this game for St. Paul's. Great killing by Deerfield. And it's kept them out in front 3-1, no doubt. Deerfield and Bates as his stick hit the boards and just jump away from him there. Sometimes you see that a player get his stick caught in the boards and then it'll come out of his hands and spring away. Not very often, but occasionally from the circle. He's trying to shot into the pads that Fillion was able to steer into the corner. That's where they're battling for it right now. And Deerfield comes up with the puck, fell to the ice behind the play is Roberts. That's what that's all about. No penalty, of course. There's Abbott coming through. Save was made. Big rebound there. It's kicking around loose in front. They turn on it. And a save was made off Cam Herr, the sophomore, looking for a goal. A Potomac, Maryland native. Surely would have put Deerfield in comfortable position. I don't want to quite say over the top. Sullivan leading the rush. He's hooked but keeps going. Sullivan, a nice little move, still on his feet, bumps into the boards. That was cleared away from there by Herr. Terry gonna go around the cage here. Bryce Terry takes a look, swings it back through traffic. It was blocked and taken back the other way by Garzone. Drew Garzone into the offensive end. He gets by, he goes right to the goal, and Welch's mask comes off as Garzone was flying through the blue paint. He takes Cal Welch's mask with him, and of course we have to get a stoppage because you can't play with the goaltender having his mask off. And that would be dangerous. To say the least. We are not back in the 1920s and 30s. Where all goaltenders played without a mask. I'm sure some of them would be shocked to know that that's a rule today. Here comes Sam Seibold, but I guess JT Halliday's offside at the line there. I thought they were onside. Face off in front of the Deerfield bench now. 9 minutes left to go. Deerfield content with this 2-goal lead, perhaps. We're about to strike the 9 o'clock hour. A late game, 7 p.m. start here. It was supposed to be a big alumni event, the 100th year of Deerfield hockey. It was canceled due to COVID concerns, but still a great showing from the Deerfield students. Filled in this whole section in front of us. I'm sure there are still some alums in attendance. And plenty of parents as well. The Big Green will battle Choate tomorrow. That game also starting at 7 o'clock. Their big rival. St. Paul's will be back home to take on Vermont Academy at 6:30. Sam Seibold bustled away from the puck by Jackson Kachuga off the faceoff. And Deerfield gets it out to center. It's loose between the blue lines right now. Abbott. Will Murphy kind of just skids away and picked up by the Big Green. And still haven't whistled this play again. Looked out for Garzone in the middle. It's going to be a penalty to St. Paul's. I don't know how that's a penalty. I'll be honest with you folks. That's a pretty bad call if you ask me. Brad Cox is left with, I mean, he has to defend. He has to defend, and he doesn't cross-check him, he doesn't slash him, he doesn't hook him. Not very often am I like, that's a bad call, but that's not a great one. Again, the penalties have just been, well, they've been numerous, but I think that's, I don't think they've all been terrible calls. That's not a good one. Here's Abbott, leads in from the point, comes hot off the glass, and it just goes off the back of the cage. Will Murphy now. He's just got that puck pinned against the wall in the right corner. Molson digs it free. Molson back to the line. Here's Garzone. Abbott back for Garzone. Top of the right circle. Now shot, save, rebound, kicks loose. It's between the hashes. Goes back out for Garzone. It's a circle, and a save is made by Cal Welch. Yeah, I think there have been too many. And I think in an entertaining game like this, jump around play, we get a good look at the student section. There are some jumpers in there. A big game, a lot of people here. It's entertaining, and 5-on-5 action, generally more eventful than a power play. Here's Garzone, leans in from the face-off circle, save made, batted down at the side of the goal. Welch comes diving back and makes the save, and St. Paul's clears it. Remember that one if St. Paul's does indeed come back to tie this game late. Inches away from the goal line at the post. This is a game of bounces. Garzone is stopped at the line. Here's Seibold shorthanded, a minute left to go, and the kill. It'll go up off the stick of Isaac Abbott and in on goal. St. Paul's watching an offensive zone face-off. The Big Red better in the shot column this period. 9, which is their best number in any period tonight. They're out shooting Deerfield this period. They've been pretty badly outshot in the other two frames. Not, I guess, in the first, but in the second they surely were. Off the face-off, quickly with it, here is Alicia. Alicia's crunched there by Josh Halliday along the boards. That stops the Deerfield attack. They pick it up again, though, with Diffley at the right point. Diffley giving him going. He's got it back here. Diffley across. Here's Gallant, leans in, save made, rebound bounced at, and then swatted out of the zone. Halliday's going to go give this one a chase. With Spencer Gallant getting back there first. Diffley stumbles and falls. Oh, Gallant nearly cuts it up at the side of the goal. Lucky for him, J.T. Halliday already turned to go back out to center ice. The forechecker for St. Paul's, that is. J.T. Clifford turned it over on the wall, and it's quickly sent all the way down by St. Paul's. This shouldn't be icing, and it's not. So Jack Roberts is up there in the forecheck. He's given a ride by Johnny Moriarty. A good solid check by the big defenseman who's got a goal in tonight's game. Jackson Couture. Paul Forbes right side. Forbes waiting on that hat-trick goal. He's got 2. Batted out by St. Paul's again. The tide seems to have turned in favor of Deerfield following that penalty. St. Paul's nothing going on offense clearly much of this game, but especially now after having to kill off that minor. Turned over inside the line to Forbes, but back the other way. Terry has it torn away from him. It's loose at the blue line. St. Paul's is offside here. So Couture has plenty of time to come back for it. Connor Couture, brother Jackson. Got to get up here is Connor Couture. Oh, sorry, Michaud. He's just hit hard there by Will Murphy. The Deerfield crowd sensing that they're getting closer to a win here with 4.5 remaining. Josh Halliday ends up breaking up the play. Back on the stick of Moriarty again from the pass by Gallant. Sullivan has a chop at it at the St. Paul's line. Turn back here by Deerfield. They'll come in. Here's a Bene. Bene curls right. He's got a man going to the goal. Backs it up for Gallant. Back in low. Cut off here by Cade Cox, and he'll just lob one out to center. That's knocked down by Gallant once more. Here comes Gallant looking for one himself. Gallant shoots, save made, rebound is loose in front, picked up by Deerfield. They take it to the circle right now. It's Cam Herr. Cam Herr wraps it in front. And never made it to the goal. The shot out by Josh Halliday. 3:30 left to play. St. Paul's needs 2. And they're on their heels right now. Deerfield just out-possessing them. Although Sam Seibel nearly tracked that puck all the way right back to the goal. Back down at the line here by Brad Cox. He'll chop one in. Smartly, Jake Fillion keeps it playing. I think that was a good play because no risky. Things are going Deerfield's way right now. And why would you take an offensive zone faceoff when you don't have to? And give St. Paul's a chance to set up in the offensive zone. No need for that. It's actually St. Paul's who's whistled here for icing. And it's Deerfield who will have an offensive zone draw. First meeting between these two schools in 35 years. Deerfield has won the last 9. St. Paul's hasn't beaten the Big Green since 1964, and as the clock winds down, beginning to appear that there becomes less and less of an opportunity for that to happen. JT Holiday gets it into the offensive zone, not much further than the faceoff. Take a look out for Molson here. He's going to start at 2-on-1. Molson with a shot save. Rebounds loose in front. They swing it and score! It's John Bloomer who picks up the rebound on the 2-on-1. A spinning shot beats Cal Welch wide of his right pad, and the kiss of death for St. Paul's. And we get to celebrate another goal here. They've had plenty of fun tonight at the class of 1993 rink, and the hometown Deerfield goals lead 4-1. Indeed. Centering pass. There's a chance for the hat trick by Forbes. And he's potted away by Cal Welch. Deerfield not stopping. They want to add a fifth, give their crowd really something to go home and celebrate about. And it is indeed a good night for Deerfield. Meeting between two teams who have struggled to find success this year. Deerfield 51st, St. Paul's 53rd in the overall RPI rankings with about 63 teams. And it's going to be the Doors walking out of this one with a fun 4-1 win. If not more, we've got about 90 seconds left to go in this hockey game. There's a shot. They drive the cage and St. Paul scores. Henry Ong tucks one in front of the goal, and the boos rain down. With 1:24 left, St. Paul's again closing the gap. Just like they did at Proctor. That's the third line out of there for St. Paul's, just driving the net hard. They haven't been able to get to the paint. I know I'm using basketball terminology, but they haven't been able to get to the paint all night. And credit to them, credit to Dylan Biggs, who got in there. Credit to Henry Ong, who got in there, and St. Paul's has narrowed the gap to 4-2. Here's a minute and 20 left. The kind of attack St. Paul's has been missing tonight. They're starting to say goodbye at the class of 93 rink. Is a comeback in store? It's going to have to be now. It's centered under the stick of Cade Cox. J.T. Halliday missing the net wide. Less than a minute to play. Seibold. Dropped up in low by Josh Halliday. It's up the wall. St. Paul's needs 2 in 50 seconds. But it's not looking favorable right now. The goaltender is still between the pipes. 45 seconds left to play. Just away for Cade Cox. The crowd making some noise, trying to defend that lead as well. Dumped in wide of Fillian's cage. "28 seconds left of the game. Moriarty's going to go over there to catch up to this one. Sam Seibold there to meet him. Seibold wins it. Can't make the pass. And away comes Moreau. It's a 2-on-1 for Deerfield. Moreau kept out of the middle there by Sullivan, who gives him a hard ride into the back wall. I'm a bit surprised that's not a penalty, and they still continue to joust in there. And I don't think there has been a whistle. They're going to let the clock run out. I didn't even hear the horn. St. Paul's gets one late again, but it's too little, too late. Again, they fall to Deerfield. 4-2 your final score as the Big Green get a Friday night victory. They'll come around and play Choate tomorrow at 7 p.m. St. Paul's will make a long bus ride home. And they will take on Vermont Academy at 6:30. Hopefully you'll tune in then. But for now, from the class at 93 Rink, it's St. Paul's 2, Deerfield 4.